Oshio. I don't like really doing a lot of videos on this subject, but I just want to say I'm just going to touch on it briefly, or try to anyway. Alright, subject of Islam, Muslims. Okay. Now here's a fact. Now, not all of your Muslims are crazy fanatics. No, they're not all. But those who are really heavy into Islam, alright, that's where you get your problems. That's where a lot of your hate and things like that comes from. And I wanted to clarify, in case the one person sitting there watching this, let me just say, now I never said that Muhammad, not that I ever recall, should I say, I never said that Muhammad wrote the Quran. There's a lot of people, and I've heard some of the Islamic clerics, or whatever you want to refer to them as. I wanted to just say that I've heard them make reference that he wrote the Quran and different things, but yet then turn around and do a double talk that he didn't. What I had mentioned was that how could he have wrote the Quran, Muhammad that is, if he couldn't read or write? And then not to mention, you got a lot of errors in the writings and stuff, because it has changed. They, a lot in their Islamic writings and different things like that, and there's a lot of error, of course. But the thing is about Islam is that a lot of people think that Allah is the God of Abraham. They think it's the same God, but it's not. They don't worship the same God, they worship the moon god. And have you ever stopped to even consider all their symbols, the crescent moon and the star? Maybe let me encourage you to just do some research on it, okay? And you'll be surprised. And they often, I hear them defend, saying that they're not violent. They don't teach your children to kill, but news media footage out of their own mouths and stuff, or they're sitting there spouting off, teaching these kids using Mickey Mouse wannabe thingies to teach the kids on hating Jews and killing and being suicide bombers and this and that. And then the kids, you listen to them, the hate that's there, but they don't do this. Well, I don't need to prove anything, because the evidence is all around. So I don't have to prove nothing, and I won't. Not when it comes to that, because it's self-evident. And, they think that they're going to get virgins if they die for the cause of Allah. And there's a lot of things in there. But I just wanted to say, though, that understand that there is not every Muslim is a terrorist. But there's a lot of them, just like you have in Christianity. I mean, this sounds like an oxymoron here. Like you have Christians, but they're secular Christians, and that's like an oxymoron. Well, when it comes to the Islamic faith, or whatever you want to call it, you have secular Muslims when it comes to Islam. But if Islam's so peaceful, why does a lot of the Muslims have to watch themselves or they'll get yeah. So there ain't nothing peaceful about it. But don't think that because they're a Muslim, that each Muslim, every single Muslim is a terrorist. I've met a couple online that seem pretty nice people, you know, but they're not what you call 100% devoted to Islam, or or they're not what you call totally into the Quran because of the teachings of the Quran. So I just wanted to just state, you know, the big difference between Christianity, true Christianity, and Islam is about violence. Now, a lot of times those in Islam will try to say, well, what about you Christians? Your history is full of violence and stuff. Them weren't Christians. You know, anyone who knows anything about Christ, I mean, a Christian will give his life to save another's life, but they will not give their life to take life. That's the difference between Christianity and Islam, because Islam encourages suicide, you know, for the cause of Allah and all this, kill the infidel and all this kind of stuff. God does not approve of murder, and what they're talking about is murder. And anyone who's claiming to be a Christian, who whether from the past or from the present to the future, who wants to kill or have killed and done so under the name of God or the name of Jesus, and if they killed them, that was not Christian. Them are not Christians. They are not Christians at all. We're supposed to love one another. And when it comes to Islam or any religion, that when they worship any other God but the true God, they are in error, and they're slipping off into eternity that has no great promise of life, but nothing but what they're going into is death. And for each person out there, a Christian should pray for those people and encourage them to find life. You know, and of course, you know, we're considered bigots and hateful if we speak against hate. The hate that they teach, we're considered a bigot and prejudiced and different things like this. That's far from the truth. Oh yeah, there's some out there who claim to be Christians who do spew out hate and bigotry and stuff. But let us be true representatives of Christ when it comes to others. It does not mean to accept the other person's faith or religion when it's against God, the true living God. But we are supposed to pray for them and love them and try to reach them. But there's only so much you can do. Okay? It's up, you know, you can do so much, and then you have to pray and leave it up to God. Sometimes we tend to try to take it upon ourselves to do everything, trying to save, you know, get souls saved. We can't save nobody, but Jesus can. All we can do is try to reach the lost. So let's remember this as we try to go out and witness, or when we're talking to others, okay? And love the Muslims, anybody, everyone. Doesn't mean to accept their false religion, but you're supposed to love them. Jesus taught love, not hate, not murder, nothing. He taught love and mercy, whereas Islam does not believe in loving your enemies. Shalom, my friends, and God bless you all. Ha-ho.